My yende nyame ase esan so ye na nado e we want to thank God for such a day. Yes, until the day that our eyes will behold the city, and until the day that God calls us home, we pray that our hearts will continue to sing what glorious things the Lord has done for us. And also, Nadaroma, obetimi aboye, na we cry, kwesi obeba, na yan fi anto ewo kwan no so. It is with much excitement that I get to present today. Now, there's been other speakers, and now me catch one of the organizers, and they say, oh, your program, this and then they say series. Now, we get the only speaker. Yeah, not sometimes, you know, who baby are the papa because I can't say you know we did. Oh, there's been other speakers, and they've set the bar so high. The various speakers, no, but you know, they've set the bar so high. It's me following right now. No, it's like, what are the participants expecting? So I only pray, say, I won't disappoint you. But so just sit back, relax, and enjoy this evening's presentation. Okay. The other thing is, you better organizers, no, I say, or more a program, now. Right now, our options are unlimited because you will Zoom. You know, anybody at all can come and speak on it. Now, so no what to do with all the resources available to you, you chose to say member kasebi. And no matter what say more years so no my friend na so member bois na dwumedie entimen koso. Madam I don't take it lightly or for granted. Thank you very much. And also, tonight's presentation, as we've always done it, you know, Mestre is going to be very interactive. I know how Zoom works. But they're not close to the device or board the ATN. But for tonight, you know, Mestre said, We're not going to open for us to interact with voice. And yes, I heard Jesus. But what I want us to do is say, yeah, sending messages, right? Let's use the chat room a lot. I'll try and read as I go along. Say, I bet me I interact. It also helps me to gauge your work during the presentation as to whether you are following your level of understanding and all of that. That is all I ask of you. Now the tosu so no mon kind me by boom abra may present analysis media new and I chose my words carefully. Media new, which means to say you also have a role to play. Into no me pacho member like chance or rainfall. Men chadie at least not for now. Into no you have a dim kobo na member the na yet to me esuadie. Abra says Emma introduction you realize the running a phrase mental health, and as I say, oh, he worked in this, he worked in that, he worked in that, which gives the impression say mental health has been made the minimum, right? For my professional career, has always been around psych. So I have this bias towards psych, and I would want to say there is no health without mental health. There is no health without mental health. Say adwuma pomodin eni honoma apomodin bi eni honoma ehu hia. And also say ewo honom, because if you're not able to function well mentally, if you have diabetes, if you have cholesterol, if you gain weight, if you're doing anything at all, you will not be able to comprehend and be able to manage that. So it is very important. And when you say you to be taking care of our mental health and assess the state of our mental health. It's very, very important. Now, me try say me de brofo kakra na metino ebefra. Say be ya mebunu na also no ebetime follow through. Dr. Ewu Esiem did much better than probably I would do. Never so teachers. They go share the brofo hame. And this are the share says you make so you also realize, you say, in my presentation and my style, as a personality, I like to use sense of humor, right? Because the environment in which I work, is full of stress, right? It's full of stress. It's so demanding. And Indra, Dr. Ewunieka, stress oneself, so heavy. So if you don't lighten it up a little bit, and you use the same posture and the year presentations do so much, you say after the assembly you might lose it. Okay, and if you see me throwing in some humor in there, it is not to lighten the situation itself, but it is also to make it a level playing ground where we are all comfortable to share. Okay, and also, and then the mental health, dependency, and addiction. And this whole week, the biblical perspective, 1 week to wellness. Well chosen, 1 week to wellness, the biblical perspective. And and this is where I want you to give me the feedback. Yes, I see if he has it. Say dependency, any addiction. Question number 1, do you think it relates to us in the church? So, okay, say, yeni ayewo asafuimu, akwarhwefo asafuimu, SDA, Central Zone. So, okay, say, efa ye ho. So, okay, say, ebi wo musa. So, okay, say, eyadia edi yenya. Only one answer naba so far. Hey, itimpacho, me pese, mumi ending kobo. Okay. And if so, my second question. See, a dependency and addiction. A day in the year about you. What are your perceptions? What are some of the things that you typically hear? What if dependency and addiction? Me pancho, I'm so more or more chatty so far is the same names. It's a prescription drugs, loss of control, alcohol and drugs, yes. These are the things that typically comes to mind. And as you previously said, because any respect of persons and yet discriminatory, right? But the old so say, yeah, addiction, any dependency, it is not limited to drugs. It is not limited to prescription drugs. It is also not limited to alcohol, right? And as the very last comment came, no, we could also be addicted to so many other things. And he said, oh, yeah, we say, and many more, nature say, be so. Food addiction, and yeah, true. Who said Dr. Friedel said, hey, yeah, the presentation 2 days ago, no, she made mention to that. And also, honor, Rebecca Hashem Kakra. Ain't no MPP say a car addiction was a man. Mummy, I shall know maybe a binum edrin fan. Common myth about dependency and addiction. People who are addicted lack willpower. Sometimes, a told beer, a not a binum adre and no. Anna, all addicts are the same, especially so only omuye juma. It's much easier for you to say that. And I say it's much easier for you to say, oh, that is a typical addict, always seeking for medication, right? And I say, yeah, cluster boom, then we have this perception about them. Oh, when you're not doing so big, anything and you know what's use, you know. And no, maybe sometimes you're doing fast, we say no. Anna. The perception also that prescription drugs are safe drugs. That was also mentioned. Some of the things that people get addicted to. You money be one my tie a hormone, it be a prescription drugs. It's yes, the fact is that doctor prescribe a amount and just a fanasa, right? I don't mean fanasa as in fan as prescribed, but just keep taking it. So I'm a check. And every person that uses drugs is an addict. And also one of the myths out there. That is also not true. Not everybody that uses drug is necessarily an addict. And it's in a topic, they say dependency and addiction, right? And they may not even be dependent on the drug. And also another myth. And addiction is a sign of moral failure. Let me add this. Addiction is a sign of moral or spiritual failure. Ebi so adwene a omo efa hono no. Na che se obi ye addict wo asafo ni mu dia na che se ase ne susum ana se huhu mu no owofem. Ana se so entitie no we nya ne ye. There be entisa. Ana only one type of addiction there's only one type of addiction treatment that works. And also nya no kre. Dr. Ben Emiyehu said there are different maybe on my betumi aye beboa yapom eden na enioma bi won musa na eba ni treatment a enye one size fits all enti de be ya ma no ebia na anye amame, right? Okay, enti yento aso eden na tro no eka efa addiction one na so say how close can we get to addiction when it comes to the Bible? Enioma bi a me pese yehwe 1 John 2:16 or say for everything in the world the last movie I do it. The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life comes not from the Father, but from the world, right? Enti hunam akono no. Any the new akono. And you might be on ma. Yes, as a more nam and you saw and a quad diamond. Anything that we can say, and you whoopee and few computer no an answer of phone I'll use, whatever device I'll use. Because assembly nam and you also added the year the record diamond. And you know, mommy and ben, share the intimacy. In the survey, no, so no, there are certain things that we get dependent on or addicted to. That it's because it say, Yehudamno akononti. Na amanabasa. Now, share 1 Corinthians 15:33. So I'll say, do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. School be Ghana, omu yusu sa montrano as omu moto. May try as a mekai, and I've asked on some of my social media handles. I'm say a pound has something closer. So being in school, corner, me patrol between their two church modem. Obrabone yonkobone ese obrapa. Yonkobone ese obrapa. I think it's something like that. But the Bible confirms. The company that we also keep, can also affect us, right? Now, Titus 2:12 also, I say it teaches us to say no. Very important. No to ungodliness and unworldly and worldly passions, and to live life self-controlled, upright and godly lives in this present age. And present age, so because embra yedrum no embra in social ahodo ekoso. Enoma bebre ekoso. It is so easy, say, obi ebetimi a falling into trouble. It is so easy, say, obi betimi ababe ako wayward from the church and was sorry, and I also say ye church and wo fie. Intimate mo enye say entity a pebi no enyanti ana amana akobasa. Now, ye hwe de ye mame white and so eka. I say the first time the temptation comes, meet it in such a decided manner that it will never be repeated. There was spirit of prophecy. Say, ebane say, and social neighbor, embra edikan a ebebano. She ano wakwe bisu say, and sign embebu. Who said that is a very powerful statement? Because say, oma ho kwanya, and also say, oh, defe na. And yes, what she did, maho kwanyo. But I say, I the neighbor no, when see anointed, na defe no. After the behuno na ababe yo swase. Enti ehun hia pa say, ye pay attention to ourselves. And Debbie Ayameka said, we should know our baseline. Okay, we should know our baseline. Enti they say, there is any variation, I said, but it says, Sakra, ye be a bemuna, ye bet me hunintem na yaso ano. Enti no, obibe busa say, enye, a dependency and or addiction, ye den kra, aneba, kwa benso, ana efaso eba. Now, answer now, you could be dependent or addicted to bibiano. There has to be the use. When we say bibianko kapapa and jechende, no boy. Intino, I was a bibi shasie. I was a bibi shasie. Intino, den cry the deba, obedi about or sit through stress, right? Say, to say, yeah, Endra, Sister Hannah, Emi hu ye no. Say, stress, about so sana. Then what can happen? They say, oh, and your mama fa bibi na me fa managing me stress. What must I say? And there is always the use first. And a bra where you know. Now, after time, you become tolerant to it. Okay? And you bought eduani din, you bought drugs din, you bought prescription medications din, you bought other things din. Okay? And a bra where you know a drew baby after you become tolerant to it. Now say a case will be tolerance to something. Let's just say whatever you are using, is gotten to a time where the frequency and the dosage now not who use and to me will be. And you find say a draw or call Dr. Ben Hodom no tramadol 5 milligrams, right? What for 5 milligrams now for some time. Into after they do pen so be a 5 and to me will pay nibio into 5 BID twice a day. After don't know I always said the offer candy into body again tolerance to the medication at that frequency and dosage. Now if you want then we go into the dependency. Okay, and there may be some in between, but the person be keeping it to these 4. Then we go to the dependency, and the dependency near bra or nipeduano after the edan edrono. And the edan edrono to the extent he says, say, Bande says, one fair drona, you could tell in Susuye and Sakaye about redeem. And the Ebanes announced now, what you say, after you get a withdrawal symptom. And in the Sabia say, a opioids. Who have cramps, who have aches, and all of that, right? Say alcohol and also say benzos, so I will not feel free. So now sometimes depending on how much you take and all of that, which may have hallucinations, delirium traumas, and all of that, right? And there is always that withdrawal with dependency. Say if you hold on, And it's na ube who will be okay, let me move on to the next one, and I'll use that example for the addiction. Then the next one becomes addiction. Right? Now, for the paymunano, that is when after the apart from say a new hormone, you have the physiological or the psychological effect, right? Which the medical boy, symptoms are there. This say after the withdraw from at the corner or also no. But apart from that, after the say a new hormone won't be it's I say you wake up with that in mind first. Obviously, even phone, yes, and we go to and not that the page now same thing now. And not same thing now over Ecclesiastes 12:13. And even phone, it's say, but say, oh sorry, Anopa, that thing becomes your first go-to. And as I said, during the day, you want to keep going to it, right? Then you move from just the use of it after the any tolerance keke, and we're building towards the subject and as I said the substance, right? And it's also not that you only dependent on it, but right now you are addicted to it. Or not what do you can't really live without it. And at that point, sometimes with all of this, especially the dependency and the addiction, na impepi you denial yenjindi say you're addicted to it. Until you babnu bi wo fie na time bi o the phone so and I also say obi a owo edro so na fi de ofa ne time bia ofa no more than doctor prescribe say a new normal what you say they are having the physical symptoms towards the withdrawal from the medication. Any sign of money now okoka say hey why are you addicted to this substance but obeka also there be met me without it, but clearly he or she has not been able to do without it, right? And sometimes what happens in say you recognize a cramponness now for us to be able to stop say a big giant na ede. And what happens prior to being addicted to a substance and also when we are addiction now we'll go through the phases now there is always a power struggle. Now I say to me be DSC and me pamcho when you we're physical, right? There could be the spiritual part, but when him say me meduma. Then they just say Pastor Richardakwa Mone Pastor Abofamo ebeche sunsumu die no. Me the any physical one until I'll limit my discussions to that. It's no say to me be a DSC. I say oh menye as ma menye my dream boy me for said me ye nenye enso me to me nyai. Oh, it is our power struggle no course. So whenever there is that lack of self-control now and we are not able to give up now, then we fall into it. Okay, and I say the secret to self-control is to give up control. The secret to self-control is to give up control. You know why? Say so then you cannot really control it. Because at that point, they also ube to me do to me be an the secret to self-control is to give up the control that you have over the issue. Then you'll be able to self-control the situation. My confusing one I say to us. Ubet mama me hu wacha tomorrow. Say to us na me say. Then first thing can I do it? Metumi aye. Sema fedro ya metumi atena. Sema num say ya metumi atena. Sema nya would I be okay? And I brother why addicted is very so metumi ejai. If I withdraw myself from the subject and I said the substance now, what then happens to me? Right? And you have that power struggle going on. But that is when you need to be empowered. And the will it work? So ebeyaduma. Eya yebusa ye hu sempi. Him ba ko say ye di ya opia ehia. It's as if I didn't go radio on Bible. So we ask ourselves so many questions, and sometimes in asking ourselves those questions, I say the year one am I comfortable in the position in which we are. Example, and say I mean say the do the air quechi, and also say a drug doctor and the mom and my far extra, my who says he said the do the air quechi. No, so my first one, me who number to me. Yet, as it, me who number to me, and was a mefa. No one for extra one. Now, after the doctor, no was as I didn't know Edwin Nasa, tell my also, me what's now toilet and also no not mensane also not if you boom. If you work in that space, be sure what is our story you be playing. The boss oh Anna, me nana be by few honor, no buy or coy and after the moody ye don't need new hobby. Or wow, no nadia. Sometimes we ask ourselves all these questions so that we feel comfortable in the position in which we are. Oh, I'm who to be in the moment for Bakun Camo. Oh, not Yayanesa. Eti abra yes no na afi de ebusa say na dey cry no say me jaya is it worth it? Because anytime you stop anything that you are addicted to, you go through withdrawal. Okay, anytime I will be jaya anything that you are addicted to, there is that withdrawal phase. And withdrawal is never fancy. Any idea will be a person will go through. And say ubebusa say is it worth it? Extra tablets here me say me fa na yede me jai na yede because me fa e ma me pain neko say me jai so a ebe ma me aches, right? Me abi mu mi wo sasa brother na me saba benya ahututu aka ho double salasa. It makes us comfortable in our position, but should that be the case? Really not. Okay, you have risk factors. Enti ana ya na ema ebinum addicted to a substance and also say anything at all. Edenti. Eno maybe edi esie ewo. Say about mental health and also say rehwemu bebre na ye wonioma mienu the nature versus the nurture. Unipa ban, unipa su, wawusu. Ene untitiye mu. Enti esa say I'm saying Dr. Friedel said 2 days ago. Said, also say, oh, yeah, exam, be and I say, oh, no, yeah, sure. Now say, busa risk factors, go with African American, and you are more likely to have it right. Okay. Esa say, me yo bibini, tum, I'm free, a bibremuntino. Me risk factors on certain things, a dozen. In this case, me nkasa addiction, but me the example, me the baby see as so. Ye bosu ye nipa buying any ya wusu nintino. And you maybe we become more exposed to it. And genetically, somebody can be exposed to become an addict. It's it. It's the car said, the shall say, and make us say, and yet say new susumu nenye day. And also said they are not spiritually matured in tea. And a man a addict. And then also said, or lacking moral standing tea. And a man addict. It could be genetic. It could run in the family. A bushia be one man. Osha, what you say addict won't pa. But mamma woman castle say, bia na ne dieno, ne a yensano. Papa ne diene be ye massem. Ne bane dieno, ababe ye a gambling. And I'm making a point to say, it may not be the same substance of choice. It be a bit different. Now, so no, you know, say, addiction running in the family. Just as with hypertension, a bushia bi on hypertension running. Okay, it is Anna. Anna say, who use any product, any substance there, and also say any addictive substance or thing biana. Rana goes beyond substance because social media account you could be addicted to. And as I said, I'll base on that. And whenever we are addicted to anything at all, it changes our brain formation. Okay. But to begin with, the brain formation itself, as I said, genetically, can predispose us. Because I say need to be addicted. But because I'm a I say, am I quite that home? Am I quite that home says, why you who be beer, who my baby addict? Okay, just as once again, I had a person we use medical stuff, and they example because I need to no because Dr. Bemo etaka no chebe. And to the young friend say, me a bibini no, me war a high risk is say, bet me hypertension. And just say, bibini be a hypertension. Say atiase. Yen to aso. Okay. And a bra me use products be and drugs be and substances be a bedroom baby no after the brain formation no ankasa no it changes. And most of the neurotransmitters and all of that helps us to be able to reason, differentiate between good and bad and all that, almost an assessor. Remember assignment. Maybe by the time a good student, a woman will know my assignment in a way. Easy one, very easy. Look up the brain of an alcoholic. Share images. Me patron could read a whole literature. Share images, ne compare, and you get what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, you brought the nature. Also, nature no so ye bia ye tete ye. And crofo new around them. And you uncle phobia ye fire. And you may be a pass here better. Last, I think he said, this quarter year summer school, I think lesson 1. Now, your class, now you discussing about Adam and Eve, near a body or any bonnet berry. I say, now, Gaba could be our class on who say, or no, or who said, I can't know Eve now, and shall keep Piano Crack or because as he is right now, no, say, you catch and say, Kojo and phone sang Casa the way. Now he wants to know why they are saying I shouldn't touch. Intimate Messiah Coca. Number 2 Neomana apart. Number who the woman we are Masak Casey. Right? And sometimes also the choices that we make or power be a power. And then part the was I do a muntia amount for any Jehosa. Mammy caught trash. Okay, I want baby. Right? And yeah, be careful. And I will tell you a story about one of my patients. But yeah, careful on in your mind. Oh, may try you're very careful. But back to the environment, a quotation which talked about the company that we keep, right? Or say, do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. And I also have a thing that I say, no matter who you are, and how well trained you are, depending on where you find yourself and the circumstances around you, your position changes. If you have a penny for crop or when you really son or mobile Dr. Frimpo, Pastor and Chadakwa de Bioka, that's what I said. And then, penny for when you really son or mobile has a crop. Who was a mobile bano? I dream be no more for be hono with time, and the exposure, Umona a pushy quacker cracker. And Mubiasha ye, a young kofwa yefa, the friends that we keep. It is very important. Yes, curiosity kills the cat. Okako parhe. Ukona fidye. Ye the button a cat or one of those who we are no. And let us be very careful on the choices that we make, the friends that we keep. And if you have the genetic predisposition now, it's good to be aware and also say, Charlie, me what that risk and you maybe on my me family question. And to the action you may be on my when we lose control. Say Bane say ye to me and share your hustle. Ye to me and this one. And no ma bend the sound that we could be dependent on or addicted to. Ye di kaka ediane. Doc no a chair said portion sizes. You didn't get sizes even me share them share. Cratchy be a minimum was central zone hono man I'm a shena. This is dog with the waka dear. You be fall, but a betcha. Because the other sizes went dear. Oh, but food is something that we could be addicted to. If you all know ma, you're for comfort measure. Oh, when you have depression after they attend to this food, and after they have become a hormone. So now you become dependent on it or addicted to it. A bit is sweet. Oh, doko on your mano. Bibia, we typically get addicted to it. To go on mass when the chocolate be a won't mean that. So when the Bibia da, was won't be now, we will lady back or mastery. Then no me any day, on to me, or to be Gary Sokins, the condensed milk and qua the big woman. At the forefront. Now, sugar woman that down. A cat you, and some of the condensed milk, a whole tin of a goo. No cow say, I did there's so new bewa, also an enemy. Those are some of the things that we could be addicted to. Food. Now, sex and so yeah, be addicted. Until you have people that are sex traders. It is not just because of the financial gains, right? It is because they are addicted to it, and that is why they are into it. Some other things that we could be addicted to, gaming. Gaming, they brought it home. What's the first part? They just also read Wako Casino. Now, Casino, other committee be unrelated to the casino part. No say no war conferences or no. Now after the other record no be who now not game here into no see there. Or their brain will fear. Corona no so crap making it easy. So right now you have all the gaming stuff on your phone, especially for those of us who are into sports. To say there, some sports are associated with alcohol use, Since gaming is becoming associated with sports, right? And that is how people are paid millions of dollars to study and bring these things out. And that is how they are making it glamorous. Na and to say, team will buy, yes, bet on it. And to say, there are so many betting companies, and I know people are listening to us from Ghana and all over the world. Ghana, right? And they are making it so convenient for you. One video on social media where somebody was sitting in the church and a bra or take a sorry honomo, not or bet it on the phone, so right? And they are really bringing it to our doorsteps. Now, the other one is social media. And the social media and this addiction, I don't know DSM-5 not yet. But I foresee very soon it will be a part of it. But either way, I'll use that to really explain dependency and addiction. Then we'll open it up for questions. But the other thing that we already mentioned, drugs. Okay, so drugs, we have the prescription drugs. They'll call Dr. Hodom or prescribing Mao. We have the illicit drugs. The Wall Street, cover. Okay. Now, Hassan, I say, Mama share this experience. As I say, experience that a patient shared with me. This patient was a repeat patient or Thai Eba. Now, I said earlier, and sometimes when you see them so often, it makes you think it's now they only want to be injured. And to that when I say, why do you keep doing it? Though you know it's not right. And this is a patient we use IV drugs, or more shooting like through the veins, We're shooting up on the veins, the left arms need to blow up, right, blow up, and I would do left leg, right? And left leg, around 2-3 years ago, there was a drug now omulesi with heroin to shoot. And so omulesi na so shoot to abeka na I say the fra now or more aye for the potency. Now, so who shooting now? It blows the veins and it turns blue. Now, when you Bruni and light skin for no who says Nibufu cry and the veins are turning blue. No, I said shooting us are turning blue. And then I was asking him, say, Master, right now you're down with your left arm, you're down with your right. You're blowing the left leg also. So you only be left with your right leg. So why do you keep doing this? And he told me this. You won't understand. You only get high once, and after that, you chase after the first high. The best thing is not to start. So I cannot forget, and I remember the words verbatim. You will not understand. You only get high once. After that, all that you do is to chase after the first high. The best thing is not to start. Ejidifo, Mesra was say, as we earlier on said, curiosity kills the cat. Mesra, and you may be a hodoma, and shasie, me pemehu, and a year day. Unima, ignorance sometimes is bliss. Peube bitina. And he explained it this way. When you shoot the first one now, so hi now unyano. Opesa use chasey. So you keep doing it. But Esa said body was never exposed to it, and you had that shoot, you will keep doing it and you will never have it. But that is the feeling, that euphoric moment, and now Opesa unye biu. Until don't na fedi ugusu na oye. What you say? After the ugusu na oye. Until na emo so addicted, and apart from the deformation to the brain, after ugusu the physiological part, ugusu chesi sa haido, ube chesi awunya. And no, Anna Meka said, Solomon said, it's all vanity. Yebeye, yensanka. Enti mo me anhye no so na yenhwe ne ye na nya sa nyoma bi won ma odohu be kwa kogim ebeye den se obeti ho afi. Okay, so now let's look at internet addiction. Internet addiction is one of the biggest thing. Meaning say drugs, alcohol, substance, and all of that, it is prevalent among our community, but I think it said the rate may be relatively lower. This is not based on studies, I'm just assuming, okay? But when it comes to the internet, we are all in it. We are all in it. And let me explain, say, any addiction affects us, our psychoactive part of us, right? What it means is that the way the brain functions and the way it works. So now, let's use this. When you're addicted to something, it alters your mood. Makane dada. Esesa unipasuno. And as I say, usubang mood yede. Esesa watenka. And I say the way I will feel it. I'm keeping it simple. The way I will feel it, esesa no, right? And it's mood altering. So now let me use this example. My time no yaso. Into no me run faster from here. Because I don't percent of booster questions. I know it's a Saturday or maybe a Saturday on today. Let me use this example. You could use camp. I think that was the Marietta one. So that was year zone Indian. You started for zona 1. Now there was this young guy. Na nebra back Tuesday na ye quiet. No, but Thursday. Na guy no ever youth camp no order them pabo bia a matching entire. Pacho mo follow me o lucy me I want to the mechanics. Wa order them pabo bia matching entire me. Empabwa na amba Tuesday na ansa no back camp. And or track here and say a bed deliver Wednesday. So this na the brand also be Thursday. So it worked out for him. And so no become by Tuesday. He had planned to wear that combination of Atarian and Pabuano on Thursday. Nebra no so delay or a month. This guy had to perform. Neso motonum. Aquana sanyum non to. Because SM Pabuane ba na match Atariano. And sana wait media stage so. So now I ask a question and I want a response. Say, Obi say with this conscious effort. And we know so trap it at the two Instagram after where you still filter in. That's said, Dr. Opoku, one call like here. What do you think will happen to the self-esteem of that individual? That's a Sister Lydia, so I'm commenting. Not Dr. Hannah, so I'm clapping emojis. That's a Obi for so I'm the point I'm making is you post on social media and you don't get the response that you want or desire. What will be the effect on such a person? Yet, Mazie, we're talking about social media or internet addiction. Okay? And these things will alter our mood at any time because we become so addicted to it and it's affected our thinking, our thought process. So we always want to go and then post, check, and read. Okay. Abra you use social media and also no. We lose track of time and space. So on share as well. Me prepare for this presentation. I was like, okay, let me practice in your maybe. Of course, I always use my phone. I'm no exception. But then I wanted to pay attention to certain things. When he says, oh, share WhatsApp status, or clock, now I know what top right. And I don't know about Samsung, and I say Android for. But iPhone, and I think it's the same with Android. But I can say for sure, iPhone, or share WhatsApp status, or clock, now or top one of no, it disappears. Or status no cavaso. So when you try a cavaso, I don't know the thinking behind it, but this is what I know. It keeps you out of touch with time. Yeah, I say. You can stay and watch status. Skip you or shedding in 30 seconds. So be answer my 2 minutes. Cramponess and nipa 20. ASA. It will be transferred to a shower. We are with the hey, instead of me. Okay, we're talking about dependency and addiction. I said the devil is a liar. When in the house, oh, so we lose track of time and space. This is another example. When you say social YouTuber, right? Then you say, oh, it's in the minimized form. Let's say, oh, share like a whole YouTube video. It also takes away the time, right? So you could stay on YouTube, and what it does, you also say video now another suggested one, Beba. And you realize you said the suggested one that follows, is something similar to the one that you are watching. So it sustains your interest. Internet addiction. So we talked about staying on it, right? And then also getting the tolerance and then the dependency. And where did yes, African movies are very, very true. Oh, and I same on Netflix. All of these. And a similar one to sustain your attention. After they know what to, by the time I home not a miracle. We lose track of time and space. Okay. It also gives us an illusion of efficiency. Oh, I say me bibiama. But ube edano ubisa won say ede pa na maya. Eya na wo answer you say. Apart from so share a jakwa na wo sere, which is therapeutic. I have nothing against that. But bibia wonimre. What am I saying? Enti no ube hwa afi de eba no ube hu no, then you've lost track of time. Now, this is the other thing too. It's very, very distractive. Eyi yadwen efi enyomaso. See, I know you will be on my meeting, crown pasia. We're still on our phone. We can't live without it. You will be on ma say ye nam crampona na ye text it. You go on my ye driving crampona na ye share YouTube video. Na ye text it. Na ye other activities on our phones. So it's distracting us all the time. And you know very well, so when we talk about dependency and addiction, as I mentioned earlier, there's always withdrawal when the thing is removed from us. Until now, what J with teenager phone pen? My pause for a reason. I want you to think deeply about this. The tantrum that they throw when you've taken their devices, okay? And it's not just more. So one casano crampon, so what could training be? Next year, catch up and say, when you now from my phone, and go how do you feel? Because Tabana you do and your committee do or national now, my boss back home. You draw the man of the basket, but will be for the full room. They were a need be about for the share home. If a new kuma and Kobuku lady knew yes in that day. We'll do anything to go back for it. It is very, very painful. And whatever they say, nature puts us to sleep. You craft for now, nature, I'm a yada. Yeniti and what do we do first? Okay? So anytime it's taken away from us, there is that discomfort. So as soon as you wake up, the first thing is to go for it. And to say the current, you know, a call, a blue kiosk on 4 o'clock. It is the same thing. And as I said, you wake up and you feel like you got to pop another pill. It is the same thing. Okay, so let us be very, very mindful. And that affects you so on our performances, whether job, school, and as all of that. And also, it leads us to sedentary lifestyle. And we have to exercise, but we are staying on that phone. And it makes me okay. Let me give you these two other examples on internet and as a social media addiction. So one, say your phone at a vibrator. What happens to they say, oh, hold on, ma, I also phone vibrating, true or false? Oh, hold on, ma. Now you say, oh, phone vibrating, do and also ye, because you have that sensation. The word of my hold ma, I say, oh, phone ring, and so phone ring, because it said, what did the say? You always like the mind is now connected to the phone, right? And now, if you are no so now, my phone a straw. Sometimes me was so now my phone was here. My phone so entire that ring because I am ring it until me try to vibrate only, right? But our friends so they are mefa. Me was slow phone be vibrating. Ma phone no was here. Man take say phone ring it. Me be feel sure about be answer me call. I say now you the who say phone ring it. It is because it said the mind is connected. It is vibrating, yet I could still feel and hear it. And I'll come and answer my phone call. And you know, those are some of the things. One here, you don't pay particular attention to it, and it eats you up. Make I say me use social media, but the point I'm making is let us be very mindful and very, very careful. Okay, now you find to say any addiction or any dependency. What do I do? And then I say me run quickly. Now after the yetimi ebusan sem kakra. The aka ilwe Saturday. First of all, yenjin tum say you're a problem. That is the first thing. We have to accept to say we are a problem. Say yes, idea. Obia waira onunkwa no nimbe bio. And you know, say if you have a problem and you're not admitting that, it will be very difficult for anybody to help you. Okay? And you know, one, yenjin tum say a problem. Two, now we should have the willpower. And having the willpower alone, let me explain it right here before I confuse anyone. Having the willpower alone will not take away the addiction. But I don't know here, Emma, after they receive help. Or pese ye beja, I don't know here. Meshamo, and you switch and so what and then the off keke. It is people better, oh, now they don't mean Jana Yamansa crop, ye, and I know Jani did. There be Yamansa risk level different. The environment different. The support different. And to know obia dance. Me some switch and ye do no. Yanti as say adia me di in fear bebre and na bebre busumi bebre esuana maya no den se beja ne dapo. Yanti as say enti no enye bibia oh majai. Oh, Charlie, this time office stop. Oh, our office stop. When I level ni manya makwa. Oh, boy, won't mean jaisa. I was say we make a conscious effort. Now, would me a follow through. Say, how no some man tiasia make a pigeon and I make can cry. But the same thing I make her. And you know, mume Shannon Sosa. And don't ignore your cravings. And to say, oh dear, any candies, oh dear, any drugs, no, oh dear, any internet, no, whatever yours is, don't just ignore because a banner say we ignore what kind of power struggle. Now I say after the ordinate in time, but accept to say there be I do with the weakness. Me now a banner say a bar a day so you acknowledge it and then you find a plan. So, oh yes, oh, there be a new hormone idea, then you go back to the denial. Also, there has to be the willingness. Oh, into the abra, wajia to no enya or pepano. Now, who said, dear, me cravings, no, now for the when ya or penny say, what do you now find something distracting. It's don't make it distractive now. What I mean is, say, a banner say, bibipa with timu say, oh, menkoye this whatever I'm craving now, and that's whatever I'm addicted to now. Process it first. What that does is it separates you from the item or the subject matter. What you say? And to say, be out there and son, and also say, oh, dear, a pills out now, pop here. Say, but they said that cravings comes up now. Then you start to process it. You find something else to do. You distract yourself from it. Then it separates you from it. Okay. Now, the next thing also say, therapy and medication are forms of a treatment. And as I said earlier, no, treatment is not one size fits all. Obi on my therapy in Kwabeya man, obi on medication Kwabeya man, obi also I just saw the cabo. But as Christians, you know, sometimes, you will be one man, pay you or man. I say a Christo for dear, and you may be one man this year, dear Huji. And you know, was a mental health issue, or who therapist or a psychiatrist, you know, or there be Ujidi anu ajo. Yanko Paibu, Michelle Empire dear, and so Yanko pronounce the my name dear, and so I desire. And to be punctual, Yanja yourself also any day. And you know, it is okay to have Christ and to have therapists. Did that sink in? And I'm in Kebio. It is okay to have Christ and to have a therapist or a psychiatrist. And to be someone, there is nothing wrong with it when we have to seek treatment. Let's do, because there are some addictions that we cannot overcome it at home. Now, finally, now for the Obusa questions. Build your confidence with these forces. Build your confidence with these forces. Be competent at what you are doing. So learn, train, and practice. Okay. So if I'm addicted to the internet and I want to get over it, I have to learn how to get over it. I have to train myself and practice it. And to say, may share status. I know, say I'm watching it for 2 minutes. Say periodically, no. Me fee status or no ma kwa 2 minutes as one. Say as one majai. So you have to learn, you train yourself, and then you practice it to become competent. You also have to be responsible for your actions, consequences. Oh, enya madam fuwe na de ma mi aka me sade we krapo ka menye bida. Edro no ma me nuane na yes me fa the extra one, right? So we always apportionate blame. The Ken unuane way. I'm my brother's keeper. And I use Adam Diano. Adam way or say me who me kote. Now the because I didn't and your banner or didn't mammy. Oh, can you or not? Yes, that's it. But we have to be responsible for our actions and accept the consequences. And then accountability is also key. As part of consequences, you know, we have to be responsible and also be accountable for our own aid. Then also community. Endra, Auntie Hannah, Eka about support system and have this big thing about people that say oh Ghana forecast, I don't know Ghana for and all of that. It is your choice. But let me tell you, say, this psychosocial support system that we have, a very strong and very good. Ada assemble and obeti de make yase. And when we say psychosocial, it is the psychological and social support. And to do this social system that we have supports us psychologically. We can't backwards. Yet as it. And to the pabucho, let me yen to tunase. As a fune da hosa no me pabucho. In fact, so be brave. Ewo. Ane ye nipa obi beka me ho asem ebe ha me. Eno no wo hodom. But enye nunti na emwa hodwa efimu ba no. Ebe fi hodom. And also Auntie Hannah Kebibi, which is very important. Talk to someone you trust. People say, "Oh, ye penimu, we ye kendini, we ye obi ewo asafunim." Anase se wadamfu bi oni asafunim po. O kan na sem chewa san se oji wudi nti. So person ko biara de tia call the call era 1 radio. and also what they call Yonkudo radio, and also say what they call CB radio, or person or be a betinti, and or catch a waso, or an can't share one no. But if we would have, so be a boom free. Last one, the choices that we make. Mumaye making right choices, because the choices that we make today will affect us tomorrow. Minibesi has say so. Be asembia me pamocho obetimi ebusa na afide ye ano na etimi aboa yedishe. Madam Wasepe.
Dog, wait there. Thank you so much. I think say wa baba and some no more year pan. I think say most of us ya have been let me say o trail line be na me say wa more so but the net will slide. And I mean I decided to write it down. Or see, legal does not mean safe.
Oh yes. Yes.
Legal does not mean safe. I love that line because yeah, or my mother says, yeah, and in the Bible, no, it has been legalized. So the question is that the fact that they say it has been legalized, does not mean that it is safe for a Christian to use. And I wrote that line up managing.
Very good. My shadow, but it showed me so don't pay attention.
Yeah. All right. I think that the questions, and I shall say, but medical for the first one, at least you were following the chat line. Will be the kind of question about where the kind but already and sana yake or more so normal day questions about. The first one is said, if someone smoke weed and he decide to stop, does the person have to detox, or what are the processes involved? That is the first question.
So the answer will be generic because, as I said, there's no one size fits all. Right?
Okay.
Anytime there's any form of dependency or addiction, in this case, I say marijuana and I say weed. Say ebia open so jaya, obu onma or no abeti mejai. And your problem, or no abeti mejai. Obesua how to go through the processes, not wejai, and no hono. If you heard of so now, it was said or get substance abuse treatment involved. Okay. Now it's me a detoxing of it. In most cases, say marijuana and I say weed in India. In most cases, or one night and I say with the help of a friend or something like that. But say compared to some other substances in there, I want advice is over try with you. She said if you movie or say do not try this at home.
Okay. That's it. I think that there's another question I will say, is there a good or beneficial addiction?
Too much of everything is bad.
Okay.
I can say, oh, Christos, but even the component, but they do pepper, so be a see or more a Jumaya quine. Yet the Bibia question, Yame. Yanko Ponso, my Indian Quancha, I say, it's not assassin. Until when we even use that to the point where it is clouding our judgment, then I think it's problematic.
Okay. Thank you. I think for many, if there are any questions, I don't actually see any hand up until I don't know if there are any questions. I think our technical people are helping us. You can also put your question in the chat section if you have any questions.
Doc,
this one.
Oh, sorry.
There's one from Leo and Maggie.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know if that's mentioned already. Are there any beneficial side of addiction?
Yes, and I'm beside.
What's it?
Oh,
and I'm can say, are there any good or beneficial part of addictions? And yes. Okay. May both are raising and some. Yes, may both. And our technical people make my boy and let me be a question.
Yo, Bacho Madam was Doctor Bacho, send your call, yeah, annual checkups, no.
Checkups, okay.
Mental checkup, so they are from whom he say, Abia, Afibia, so young Konya share Binumana.
Mystery because of course the almost every time I'm presentation will be busa. idea who here, but I say, preventative medicine, and I said, you check up near the night corner. So, call PCP Hodoma as part of checkup no more, there are certain questions, maybe do you feel safe at home near your man? But unfortunately, no, they don't go much in depth. Emma say bibu or hodoma, as I say, apart from say you don't feel safe at home and now no man can tell this, they don't pick on it and then be able to follow up with it. For now, they as part of maintenance medicine, no, and yeah, dear, a mudopi, I can't, your treatment modalities. And usually I had a secondary, or I say Renee, and it's at the chair say no, and to answer your question directly, no. Oko PCP Honma, me pacho bit my stress on the fact is that we're looking more into such a thing and obey my boy.
All right, thank you so much, Doc. There's another question. I'll say, how can parents help their upcoming children not to start any acts that may lead them to addictions? Quite ben so na you know, say our phobia platform say be so here from Ghana, which we are very grateful. So be a honor parent to be a quite ben so of sabo ne ma a home buyer or muntimin start to be a believe you to near my yeki can want. That's
okay. The other kind, your cobone cell brapa. And you know, be careful and pay attention to the friends that your kids make.
okay.
Your uncle for hobo. When now no make I see so Papa because say a branch will be person we couldn't feel you. Now you after the Matias.
Yeah.
Into a new year the right?
Yeah.
They also me no more and no money more and fat and no ma air cost. Yeah, you bet you to say your more frano and nim the cost and they essing ye no. What do I say?
Yeah.
But there are sometimes me when they say, especially in our Ghanaian community, no. So Obubu say a question be a you're comfortable with her. Now I say you per se a tram so. Na ye hoko. But all they say near dinner, yes, all the tram so now. Obeko pay or baby fufu. And let us be frank with them. See any mamma patch of manus own him, ne quashishe. And I pour beer on him a man, no intimate no man. Right? And they also be on so no say more friendly co school and as say almost share to baby as ya. Yen take your time. Yen no monkasa. Ni who say be a bibi cheer. There could be a peer pressure from somewhere which is leading them to certain behaviors. And you know who a cheer and obo say okasa okasa back no. Enyekwa. If you baby neighbor. Oh, also a bedroom baby, no, not Philly say, we're who more than what the parents. I offer what has in part of mood does in the weeping. But since you know, a kid in high school typically will who be paying. What is it? And you know, you're no moon come, you're more one. And secondly, no, so you pay attention to them. Say, whenever there's a variation, we'll be able to tell.
Okay. Dr. Freda to say like bullying, any of those things, and
exactly.
Who we saying. And now, my Felicia Bokote editor said children and youth are screened during annual physicals. In Tinsisia, they started screening the children and the youth during the annual physicals. Okay. There's another question. Or say, is it good to make them aware about alcohol and drugs at an early age? I feel like creating the awareness rather than curious, like making them curious to want to, like, to make them want to try.
What do you say? I agree, no. So the crow woman say, so one chair now, obeku ati, it's your baby fufu.
Okay.
Yeah, you might music videos, yeah. That is how they saw these things to us to begin with.
Yeah.
And to all parents in the crowd, but the mammy Musa so what ye Ghana for your man, a womb. What ye abrofu dear, a womb.
Yeah.
It's you know, now it is being introduced to us subconsciously.
Yeah.
And you know, it is better say, Obabada who say, Adia omo chair or music video, and I say, Adia omo show a TV suite. ebia enya depa onuma say na de bebro ane ebinum nom de me pamcho sa na metie bi o say da bi ye nyesa na me baba ko ebuza she's only 4 years old na obuza ne na say no ne kaze ba ko no so 4 years edi nkobo ana boy ni busa girl they say oh ye enshasma de me man enshasma de ana girl no ka say oh no they do ana ne na fish robe and okay say no we don't and I say but I've seen people wear it. Ana boy now with 7 the boy say in my class there is a boy who wears earring. Yeah just say yeah nye there be ebinumo ye adenti na ebinum ye na ye de enye no they achieve. See, you must have blanket, straightforward answers now. They know more than what we know. And usually, we say ourselves, no, not just say,
thank you so much. My name so be another question. I think there's another hand. Lydia Odum. Now, whilst you're on mute, Lydia, we say, what are some of the signs if a child starts to use drugs?
So it will vary.
Okay.
Who's the drugs in your muahodo? Your downers, your uppers.
Okay.
Right? Into a good or far about ye slow, and say. It will also our far a bit more into whether the person is using a downer or an upper. Sometimes also some behaviors are when they say after the true ones about more life. Anna or 30. Okay. It is a critical school that says so about 4 o'clock. Now, if you over here, not about 7, 8, then you know so there's a problem somewhere. You want to investigate. I mean, that's what you should do, but you want to investigate. Okay. If you also now, you say, after the oba no sneaking up a question basement or no. Because on person one either so be piano and as so be say the near is saying and as a visa. Oh, you know, as you pay attention. Also, you check your mobile backpack.
Okay.
Any they may not expect you to search, but what you feel? Search it.
I think that I'm so happy with some of the questions now. Now, it just brings to mind. Yeah, like we are focusing on drugs and we're saying that one of them that comes readily to mind is about the food addiction. I was reading one of these research articles. Now, I say some of these food companies, it's not even the pharmaceuticals because most time some of the food companies didn't even target pregnant women. And the kind of food they eat, you know, like the sugars in any way, saying your mom a crave and to almost I say, and by the time I cry, no, young one already you talked about the genetic components, you know, or mono, they are not even looking at the environmental. Maybe I want to if you are environmental, no probably will be controlled. They are modifying the genetic parts and the nip those kind of food, you know, into no manner the normal ones that is said. Near Dr. Freda Motre, and they are not willing to do that. They are open here. The dead, the night, so I think that those are some of the things that we also need to look at. Even for pregnant women, we also need to be very careful on our food selection because it also goes to affect the formation of the unborn child.
They are 4 women. They are beautiful with brains. They are eloquent, decent, wise, and experienced. You have heard many, the funny. Now, it's time to hear the experience and the brainy. Meet Selena, Dorcas, Gifty, and Annette as they present the real in common getting. In common biaye sesi chain. As in takrenu assume the dead. The real in common getting. Showing live this and every Sunday, 7 p.m. on Era One Radio.